We have always sought to comprehend, on a deeper level, the psychological understanding behind the poor dating scene in today's dating market. Why is there so much changes from our forefathers' time till now? Why is the dating market dynamics moving in ways that especially makes things worse? There may be numerous factors, but in this video, I will help you understand this particular matrix. Don't forget to subscribe and like to avoid missing out on future videos. Before I continue, let's watch this short clip.
Dating now, I feel like I just feel like it's like really shitty nowadays.
What do you think's contributed to that?
Honestly, a lot of girls are growing to make more money than like the typical guy nowadays. And like, I feel like guys are not stepping up to the plate as men. And I feel like girls are starting to become men.
What are men not stepping up to the plate? What does that mean?
Does that make sense? I don't know.
Does that mean they're
I
not
just,
making
like,
enough
blacked
money?
out saying
What
that.
does it mean they're not stepping up to the plate?
I feel like guys have taken a step down because girls have taken an alpha step up, if that makes sense. And I don't
Okay.
mean that like offensively. I just mean that like I've seen a shift. Like women have really like made a stance to like, you know, like we've pushed, like as women, like we've pushed hard to become, you know, equal and just be seen as equal and just like financially equal. And I feel like we've pushed past that threshold and now we're like alphas. And I feel like men have like kind of just, yeah.
I think she has a point. When a society empowers women by giving them more power in the workforce, equal pay, allow women do whatever they want, but remove shame, etc., it doesn't just deteriorate society. On the long run, it crumbles and renders it weak. The natural design of God from the beginning was clear and simple. The man will dominate and rule over you, but the woman will continuously try to collect power from the man. Genesis 3:16-17. God is God. God knows what he is doing. And if God did not give the power of the world to the woman, then he has a solid reason. Man in power is divine, while woman in power is the opposite. In that short clip from earlier, while the beautiful lady was explaining to the men how the dynamics have changed, they were laughing because they are ignorant of the trend. In the society, power in the hand of a woman is not so nice. And I can't just simply tell you something is not nice. We are men. We must be logical. We must understand. So I must also give you reasons and make you understand. I will be showing you the 7 woes of encouraging a super feminized society. The 6th point is already happening, but overlooked because it's cute. Remember to subscribe and like. 1. It crumbles the economy. If a woman has more power over money, hence she makes more money, the economy will be the first to feel the heat. Money in the hands of a woman does not saturate. A woman will rather stash her money away in a piggy bank and just live off of her husband or boyfriend's wealth. What happens if most of the cash is stashed in a piggy bank, unused and untampered? Who buys drinks in a bar? Where will the money spent in the market come from? How does money saturate and get to the ordinary person? Does that not mean a restaurant will open and not make sales? 2. It crumbles childbirth rate. If the woman has more power, finding a relationship becomes a problem for both her and the men. In a society, if 100 women have 100 million naira each and the other 100 men have less, marriage and relationship will turn off as women only date high. She must look for a man richer and better than her. This will affect birth rate, as women will find it hard to find a compatible mate. How do they sire children if they withdraw sex? 3. Masculine castration. In today's super feminized society, where porn and masturbation is free, where most boys have no father, where movies are manipulated, where gay is on the rise, where masculinity is demonized. Do you understand the effect this trend will have on the next generation of men? This castration is not on the male organ, it is a castration targeted at the mind, soul, and masculinity of men. A new world of men who have been conditioned to be dull and feminized. The weaker men become, the weaker and feminized the society become. 4. It destroys women. A woman with power becomes what she never imagined. We see it in our daily lives. Stepmother versus stepchildren, madam versus salesgirl, ogre wife versus maid, manager versus employee. She makes sure everyone under her suffers. In addition, without a masculine frame above her, she suffers, and everyone around her feels the heat. The biological and historical programming of a woman needs a mediator above her to calm her unsteady emotions, exorcise her inner unruly demons, and check her upcoming self-harm. A woman without a present father or framed husband ends up trying to destroy her body, either with tattoo, piercing, promiscuity, attention, etc. And in this super feminized society, she is set loose and shame is removed. 5. It destroys a society's future. The younger generation are the future. They say children are the future of tomorrow. But what happens when the future of tomorrow was never taught the ways of men? What happens when the future of tomorrow was raised to hate his own masculinity but reverence femininity? Would we not be raising a new generation of weakness? A generation where boys never turn to men, where the nuclear family is abolished and fatherlessness is at an all-time high, where women run with "I don't need a man" conditioning? What else is left for such society? 6. Confusion and madness. You see what the world is turning to? People are confused. Confusion in gender, psychology, identity, history, roots, etc. Ask some people, are you male or female? And you will get some really interesting answers. Ask a doctor, can a man get pregnant? And you will be surprised.
Do you think that men can get pregnant?
I hesitated there because I wasn't sure where the conversation was going or what the goal was. I mean, I do take care of patients with different identities. I take care of many women. I take care of people with different identities. And so that's where I paused. I think, I wasn't sure where you were going with that.
Well, the goal is just the truth. So can men get pregnant?
Again, the reason I paused there is I'm not really sure what the goal of the question
The goal is just to establish a biological reality. You just said a moment ago that science and evidence should control, not politics. So let's just test that proposition. Can men get pregnant?
I take care of people with many identities, but
Can men get
I take
pregnant?
care of many women that can get pregnant. I do take care of people that don't identify as women. That
Can men get pregnant?
Again, as I'm saying,
Let me just remind you testified to a moment ago. Science and evidence should control, not politics. So can men get pregnant? You're a doctor.
Science and evidence should guide medicine.
Do science and evidence tell us that men can get pregnant? Biological men, can they get pregnant?
I also think yes/no questions like this are a political tool. And
No, yes/no questions are about the truth, doctor. Let's not make a mockery of this proceeding. This is about science and evidence, and I'm asking you. You know, the United States Supreme Court just heard arguments yesterday at great length on this question. This is not a hypothetical question. This is not theoretical. It affects real people in their real lives. And you're here as an expert, called by the other side as an expert, and you've been telling us that you follow, right, you're a doctor, and you follow the science and the evidence. So I just want to know, based on the science, can men get pregnant? That's a yes or no question. It really is, I think.
I think you're trying to reduce the complexity of a lot.
I'm not. I'm trying to get, it's not complex. I'm trying to get to an answer, and I'm trying to test, frankly, your veracity as a medical professional and as a scientist. Can men get pregnant?
I think you're also conflating
This is
male
extraordinary.
female with
No, I'm not conflating male and female. They're two different things. There's biological men and there's biological women. And I want to know, can men get pregnant?
What you were talking about is biological.
You're not gonna answer my
say
question.
Biological males.
This isn't hard, doctor. Can men get pregnant? Yes or no?
I would be more than happy to have a conversation with you that is not coming from a place of trying to be polarized and push
I'm not trying to be polarizing. I'm trying to ask. I think it is extraordinary that we are here and hearing about science and about women. And for the record, it's women who get pregnant, not men.
Femininity is confusion. Exactly why a woman will have a load of clothes in her wardrobe and still say, I don't know what to wear. What happens when the society becomes feminized? 7. History is changed and forgotten. In the Bible, in the beginning, in the book of Genesis, God already said, the woman will seek to take control and power over him. Genesis 3:16. In today's world, the women have taken control over the man, and to be able to keep that control, the man must never remember who he is. In this super feminized world, the woman rules in the house, in society, and even in power. The first thing is to erase history. Erasing the history of mankind is erasing the identity, roots, behavior, and ways of men. These ways that have kept the world in order for all generations. If men never remember the ways of men, then they never remember the importance or need to hold power. So they will easily release masculinity and embrace equality. If boys never learn the ways of men, then they never learn to hold power and lead. If history is forgotten, if the natural design of God is removed from our minds, then disorder and chaos will ensue. Everything is a man's fault, and everything will continue to be a man's fault. In our super feminized world, men need to protect women, children, society, and the future, because God already ordained us to take up this responsibility. We will do it together. In our next video, we will look at a new topic. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and tune on your notification.